Grab your sister and run. Don't trust your mother. The light from my phone didn't just wake me up, it burned a hole through my reality. 12 words. That's all it took to turn my mother, the woman who had tucked me in for 17 years, from a protector into a predator. As I sat there in the suffocating silence of my bedroom, I could hear her downstairs. The rhythmic clink of a wine glass. The muffled audio of a crime documentary. She was right there 30 feet below me, and according to my father, she was the greatest threat to my life. My dad was in Seattle. He was a man of logic, a consultant who lived by spreadsheets and schedules. He never texted late. He never used the word run. If he was telling me to flee into the night with my 12-year-old sister, it meant the world hadn't just changed, it had ended. Before I tell you how we survived a high-speed hunt and uncovered the blood-soaked secret hiding behind my mother's perfect suburban life, drop a comment. Where are you watching from? And have you ever realized someone you loved was a total stranger? Pay attention. In the next 10 minutes you'll learn why you should never ignore a 2 a.m. warning. The silent exit. I threw off my blankets, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. My brain was a chaotic mess of questions, but my hands were operating on pure survival instinct. I grabbed a backpack, dumped out my biology textbooks, and shoved in my laptop, a charger, and the $300 in emergency cash I'd hidden in my desk for a rainy day that had just turned into a hurricane. My sister Becca was 12. She slept like the dead. I crept down the hallway, every creak of the floorboards sounding like a gunshot in the silent house. I eased open her door and saw her buried under a mountain of blankets. Waking her quietly was the hardest thing I've ever done. I knelt beside her bed, pressed my hand firmly over her mouth and shook her shoulder. Her eyes flew open, wide with primal panic. I leaned in, my lips touching her ear. "Dad sent an emergency message," I whispered, my voice barely a vibration. "We have to leave. Now. Without Mom knowing. Trust me. Stay silent." Becca was terrified, but she was a Brennan. She nodded. Within 2 minutes she had jeans and a hoodie on over her pajamas. We didn't use the stairs. We couldn't. Mom was right there in the living room. I popped the screen off Becca's window, a trick I'd used for sneaking out to parties, now repurposed for a desperate escape. I threw our bags into the mulch 8 feet below, then lowered Becca by her wrists until she had to drop. I followed, hitting the ground with a muted thump that felt loud enough to wake the neighborhood. We didn't look back. We ran. The hunter in the SUV. We were 3 blocks away, huddled behind a dumpster at a 24-hour convenience store, when my phone buzzed. "Mom, where are you girls?" I heard noises upstairs. The casual tone made my skin crawl. It was the mom voice, the one she used to ask if we'd finished our homework. I didn't reply. Then, a second later. "Mom, this isn't funny. Come downstairs right now or I'm calling the police." "What does he mean, Zoe?" Becca was crying now, the silent, shaking kind of tears. "Why can't we trust Mom?" "I don't know yet," I said, trying to steady my hands. I called Dad. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Nothing. His phone was a brick. Suddenly my phone rang. It was her. I put it on speaker, my breath hitching. "Zoe? Honey?" Mom's voice was tight, vibrating with a strange, frantic energy. I woke up and the window was open. "You're scaring me. Where are you?" "Dad texted us," I said, my voice cold. "He told us to run from you." "Why would he say that, Mom?" There was a silence on the other end so heavy it felt like it had mass. Then she laughed. It wasn't a mother's laugh. It was brittle, sharp, like glass breaking under a boot. "Your father is having a mental break, Zoe. He's been delusional for weeks. Paranoid. He's in Seattle seeing a therapist for visions. He's trying to kidnap you from me through a screen. You need to tell me where you are so I can protect you." For a second I almost believed her. It was a perfect explanation. But then I remembered the expression I'd seen on her face through the window of our house earlier that evening. It wasn't the face of a worried wife. It was the face of someone calculating a move. "We're staying at a friend's," I lied. "We'll come home when we talk to Dad." I hung up and powered off the phone. 10 minutes later, a silver SUV cruised past the convenience store. No headlights. Moving like a predator stalking the brush. It was her. She wasn't calling the police. She was hunting us. The FBI connection. We ducked into the shadows, moving through alleys until we reached a payphone. I needed a line that couldn't be tracked by a family sharing plan. But before I could dial, I powered my phone on one last time to check for a signal from Dad. There was a message. Not from Dad. From an unknown number. This is Special Agent Victoria Reeves, FBI. Your father asked me to contact you if his line went dark. Do not go home. Do not trust local police. Call me immediately. My stomach dropped into my shoes. FBI? This wasn't a mental break. This was a federal case. I called the number. Agent Reeves answered on the first ring. Her voice was pure steel. Zoe? Listen to me. Your father has been a confidential informant for the FBI for 3 months. He discovered your mother isn't just a real estate agent, she's the central hub for a money laundering operation tied to a regional cartel. Tonight the leak went both ways. They tried to take your father out in Seattle. He escaped but is in hiding. The words hit me like physical blows. My mother. The woman who organized the bake sales. The woman who insisted on organic milk. She was moving millions of dollars for killers. Where is she now? I asked, my voice trembling. She's desperate, Reeves said. If they can't kill your father, they'll use you and Becca as leverage to keep him from testifying. She's not looking for her daughters, Zoe. She's looking for hostages. I'm 45 minutes away. Stay hidden. The highway duel. We couldn't stay still. We hailed a taxi, paying the driver $100 in cash to take us toward the FBI field office north of the city. I told him to stay off the main highways. We were 5 miles out when the headlights appeared. They were high beams, blindingly bright, reflecting in the taxi's rearview mirror. The driver swore as the vehicle behind us surged forward. Bump! The taxi fishtailed. My head hit the side window. She's trying to kill us. Becca screamed. It was the silver SUV. Mom was behind the wheel, her face illuminated by the dashboard glow, twisted into a mask of pure, murderous determination. She rammed us again, the sound of crunching metal filling the cabin. The taxi driver panicked, flooring the pedal of his beat-up sedan, but it was no match for a high-performance SUV. Mom pulled alongside us, turning the wheel sharply. She wasn't trying to pull us over. She was trying to flip us. Stop the car! She screamed through her open window, her voice barely human. The taxi driver lost control. We hit a patch of gravel, spun twice, and slammed into a drainage ditch. The world went upside down. Smoke began to curl from the engine. I crawled out of the wreckage, dragging a sobbing Becca with me. We scrambled into a culvert, a concrete pipe under the road, as the SUV screeched to a halt above us. I could hear her footsteps on the asphalt. Goals? I'm trying to protect you. The FBI is lying. She sounded like the mother I knew again, but then I heard the sound of a slide racking on a handgun. She was searching the brush with a weapon. She was ready to shoot the witnesses. The reckoning. The sirens saved us. Blue and red lights flooded the road above. Mom didn't hesitate. She scrambled back into her SUV and roared away, tires screaming. 20 minutes later, we were wrapped in shock blankets in the back of a black FBI Tahoe. Agent Reeves was there, her hand on my shoulder. Your father is safe, she said. He fought off the hitmen in Seattle. He's at the field office waiting for you. The truth came out in the weeks that followed. My mother had built a shadow empire. She used her real estate business to buy ghost properties, cleaning blood money for people who didn't leave witnesses. Dad had found a hidden ledger in her organic gardening folder on the family computer. He had risked everything to get us out before the hammer fell. The trial was a media circus. My mother sat in the defendant's chair wearing a tailored suit, looking like the victim. But when the FBI played the recording of her screaming, "Stop the car," while ramming a taxi full of her own children, the jury's faces turned to stone. She was sentenced to 25 years. She never looked at us. Not once. Today, Becca and I live in a different state. We have a new name, a new house, and a state-of-the-art security system. We're in therapy, trying to understand how a person can perform love while plotting a betrayal. But every night before I go to sleep, I check my phone. I look at those 12 words from my father. They taught me the hardest lesson a daughter can ever learn. Sometimes the person who gave you life is the one most willing to take it away. If this story stirred something inside you, don't scroll away in silence. Tap like, it tells us these stories deserve to be told. Subscribe to Vengeful Goddess for unforgettable tales of betrayal, resilience, and justice, stories you won't hear anywhere else. Turn on the bell icon so the next story reaches you the moment it drops. Your support keeps these voices alive.